you see these videos pop up mostly on social media, Instagram, Facebook, um, and I've always questioned. The question I always have is, who's filming? Because
Right.
that's always like a possibility. Look, I know everyone walks around with their smartphone these days, and you see something, you pull out your camera, and you start filming. And I know that you could be across the street or in an apartment, and you can zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but is there something else they could be doing? Like, why is it? And but some of them, you can tell that they're not far away.
Like the camera.
Like,
Man.
yeah, the whoever is doing it is not far away.
Right.
And my question is, why are they so close? And then the cops, because generally you put a camera in the cop's face, they're going to tell you one of two things. You can't film this. Stay back. They're going to, if they're beating the crap out of someone,
Right.
they're not going to look at the camera and be like, oh, wait, get my good side. I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah,
Did you get that? It's
Right.
like, no.
Which I would hope no cops have ever
Like-
done that in any of these shooting videos. At least not yet.
Like, and then my thing is, okay, you hear about it a lot, and a lot of people infuriated because, okay, it seems like a race thing. White cop, black guy, white cop, black woman, white cop, black couple,
Right.
or Hispanic, or vice versa.
People calling the police on a black guy trying to get into his
Correct.
apartment or something like
Correct.
that. Yeah.
And you see all these viral videos, and I start to sit and wonder, what's the purpose of it? Because I question everything, and you should too. Like, you really should question everything in life, because if you don't fall for I call it the okie doke, because there's a lot of that going on. And please don't think that oh well, they can't do this to me because I'm so smart and I'm not gullible.
Yeah.
But my theory is this: I think it's to continue the division that has already been established, because every time it seems like people want to come together, one of these videos come out, and then everybody's divided all over again.
It definitely
And
seems like a distraction.
it is
for
a
sure.
distraction too. When something else is going, it's a sidebar type thing, but its main purpose is to fuel division, because okay, so one thing you guys will understand as we go on is, I back a lot of things that I do with the Bible. Now, some of you may disagree and say, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the Bible, however and that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to beat you over the head with it, but I've read the Bible as a book.
Right.
I've shared that with you, and I've studied it as a blueprint of what we should do as humans, as people that God created, So when I look at that, and I look at what's going on in the world, and then these videos come out, and I'm like, okay, what's the purpose of this video? Because if you really look in the Bible, you will never really find race as we define it now, like as blacks, white, Hispanic, other, whatever.
Right.
I mean, you have tribes.
Yeah.
You have
What,
tribes
in the Bible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different tribes, and your tribe kind of tells where you're from and who your descendants are. You know what I mean?
See, I definitely do want to get in and question since for me, I'm not familiar with the Bible really much, only like certain stories that I've been presented to as I was growing up. Again, like going to church and stuff like that. But I do want to get into that, but I don't want to get too like lost in the weeds before we get too far away from there. So
No.
So I'll ask that later. But for right now, yes, keep going.
And like I said, I just look at it based on that, and we're not really supposed to be a divided people, so to speak.
Right.
We're all supposed to be the same. Yes, the pigmentation of the skin may be a little different, but it doesn't really mean we're different.
Yeah, and like even thinking in the Bible or not, it's just how things should be. Like, we're human beings. Like,
exactly.
Instead of having all of this us versus mentality is like one of the biggest problems that we do have for sure. Like, everybody wants to think that they have the answers or so, or that they know the right way to do thing, or the right way that people should speak, or the right things that people should do. Like, they got the right thing, and other people need to change how they're living to be more like them, and then the world will be a better place. And
correct.
Again, not saying that we never do that thing as well.
Correct.
Like, we're trying to pose some answers, even though we know we don't have all the answers
Correct.
here.
Absolutely.
But at least being, I don't know, just less of the us versus mentality and more being open to the possibility that you may be wrong.
Yeah.
And just listen to the other side or so, and maybe the two sides will have more in common than you think. But maybe that's me going off on a tangent. Did I really?
No, I hear you. I
okay.
hear you. But see, the thing that I also think about is this. Okay. Now I see those videos.
Right.
And this is what I see happening. People watch those videos, especially, the younger generation.
Yeah,
they watch the video. They're a little more impressionable. They go out and they have an encounter with a police officer. And instead of them to do the right thing, and what's the right thing? Well, we live in a society where we're governed by rules and laws, and if you don't want to conform to those rules and those laws, then you can't live in a society, basically. And we've agreed to that.
All right.
So when you see someone who's representing that authority, that law, that, whatever, give them the respect. It's like if you're in a home, like, you will not blatantly disrespect your father or your mother. You shouldn't. And if you have one of those, fathers or mother that don't mind correcting you on the spot,
right?
Hey, But that's the same thing. So you go out and see an officer, you don't call him names and, oh, you're a pig, oh, get away from me, and start, cursing at him. Even if I'm not a police officer, if I've never met you before and I'm trying to say something to you and that's how you come up to me, of course I'm going to be defensive.
Right.
Automatically. Now, it makes it worse because they have a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a one-sided fight. Like,
exactly. It really is. But the thing about it is...
Yeah, go for it.
I look at those videos, and in my community, like, I've been stopped a couple of times by the cops. Maybe once or twice. I didn't get pulled out of my car. I didn't get beat down. I didn't get a gun pulled on me. I didn't get shot.
All right. So that goes to show it's not all the police. I mean,
correct.
Obviously, there's definitely some very shitty ones out there. And whenever I drive by and I see a police on the side of the road, I'm not exactly the calmest, obviously. Even I get tense or so when I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So obviously things could be better, but at least have the wherewithal to know that it's not every police officer. You can't project the actions of one person
correct.
Onto the entire group or so. Because, again, like you said, there are laws that create the society, and laws exist for a reason. I mean, there are some, again, bullshit laws out there, but it doesn't mean that, we need to go have a society with no police and no laws or anything like that. Yeah, them people are getting raped and pillaged and shit like that. Yeah. You know what the shit was like back in the Genghis Khan days. You don't want to go back to that, to the Wild West. Yeah, it sounds romantic and cool and stuff like that until somebody like your wife gets dragged into the middle of the town and raped or something. No, you need the police. When your house gets robbed, who do you call? The police. Your house is on fire. Correct. Who do you call? Correct. The fire department comes and gets you. We need to rely on these societies and standards and rules for a reason. But correct. Yeah, there are some bullshit rules out there, though.
Correct. And on the other side, being on the other side, like, with the police, one thing, they're human. Yes. Even though they wear a badge, they're human. And, I mean, your personality has a lot to do. And I don't know if it's still the same, but back in the day, before you can actually become a police officer, you went through a lot of testing.
Training,
Training, personality-wise. If your personality did not fit, you were, no matter how high you scored on everything else, you were not going to be a police officer. Now, there's more of a shortage, so almost everyone who's applying is getting the job, and they're not really doing that test to see, okay, where is your head? Where is, what's your personality like? I mean, do you have a dislike for this kind of people, that kind of people? Do you have an open mind typically when you go out there?
Yeah. Not to say that the police were perfect back then.
Correct.
There was a lot of corrupted stuff that happened back then too.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And me personally, like, I have a criminal justice degree, and I've done a lot of ride-alongs. I talk to a lot of police officers. I still do now, because I come in contact with them quite a bit. Not on the scale of me doing anything wrong. No, I don't, but just because of what I do.
Illegal operations, don't want to talk about it here.
So every now and then I come in contact with them, and I just pick the brain. Like, I learn a lot from some of them, and like you said, not all police officers think like that. Not all of them are like that. Now, it seems like I'm taking up for police officers, but I'm really not. I'm just saying they're human. 9 out of 10 times, and there are cases where people have been completely respectful and done everything right, and they still get violated. Of course, I know that as well. And again, there's no justification for it. I'm just talking about the purpose of some of these viral videos. Like, if we're exposing these things and it's really not doing anything, then you hear about nothing happens with the police officer, or they get sued, or they get suspended with pay. And then, so what happens? Like, what is the point of the videos? Like, because all I see is that if anything's not getting done, we're just fueling, like, the society with, like, bad intentions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now people are going there with, like, a genuine hate or dislike for police officers. And then it makes them get on the defensive. Then you're going to see more of what's happening.
Right.
So it's like somebody's got to say, okay, so why did you post this? Like, yes, you want them to see, but like, then it's like Facebook has this thing where, okay, there's filters and you can't post certain things on Facebook, or, but it still gets on there.
Right.
So why are they allowing it?
So one would, would argue
there's a bigger scale thing. Something's going on.
Yeah. One would argue that, well, the answer to that I posed like earlier when we were talking and stuff is that the reason why people are able to take these videos but not actually be in the situation themselves or so is because of cowardice. Yeah, people can take a video from a distance or so like that, and generally, like, when they post a video online or so like that, it may show like a zoomed in picture of that or so, but coming from like a technological standpoint, if you take a video like on your phone, you do your zoom, it doesn't zoom in like a DSLR camera does. Correct. So that's when like the pixels get all blocky and stuff like that. So the definition isn't the best. So it shows that they are at a distance because it's not the clearest thing.
Correct.
And again, because cowardice, they don't mind taking a video to be the one who uploaded that video or so like that, because everybody wants to have that shot for Instagram or selfie or something like that. So they want to be, followers. Exactly. They want to be the one that came out with that content to be like, I'm the one that blew the lid off this thing. So I would say it's more of like, I don't know if you could describe it as a chaotic circumstance of just everybody vying to be the one that uploaded that video or so. But I don't know. There could be an overall mastermind. That's a
possibility too. But my thing also is,
but you were saying you think it's like possibly staged in a way?
Yeah, I was saying that it could be some of it. I think it's staged because just the way you look at it, and it's like, especially some of the ones where there are two people in a car, and maybe the other person's filming, and the cop like just shot the person next to you, and you're like, why did you shoot him? Why did you shoot him?
Oh, the one with the guy.
Yeah, and then you have a camera. Like, if I'm sitting next to him and some random person shoots him, I'm not going to have a camera in your face like, why'd you shoot him? I will legitimately be freaking out like,
right,
my friend just got shot. Like, that's my brother, literally. Like, he just got shot. Like, I'm throwing the camera away, and I'm panicking because, are you going to shoot me now? Because I just witnessed you kill somebody.
Right.
Cop or no cop.
Okay, but that could be a difference of personalities too.
So,
like from yours, you're a dude who can take care of yourself. So in a situation like that, you would definitely, I wouldn't say you would assault the cop, because again, he's got the gun and he's in the best position to put your ass down.
Yeah,
so you wouldn't assault him, but from the lady's perspective, I would probably say that she might have been in, maybe mentally panicked or shocked or something like that, but she doesn't know what she can do, so all she can do is keep videotaping. And I think the cop was like out there panicking himself, just like, fuck, what did I just do?
Yeah.
So I think if we're talking about like the same
there's
video,
one, and there's so many variations of them. You know, it's almost like
there's a lot of horrible ones out there.
And you know, there's one, of course, yeah, like you said, the cop is like, oh man, you know, like what did I do? What did I do? You know, but again, like, I'm just questioning the motive behind, you know, everything, you know, behind those viral videos, because it's like, I drive up and down. I mean, I see cops pull people over. I look at I kind of see the interaction. Like, I've rarely ever driven by when a cop pulls someone over and they have guns drawn, unless,
right.
Well, I've seen that situation, but the way it played out, nobody got shot, and it was two guys who, I don't know what they did, but all I know is that when I witnessed it, when they opened the trunk, they found a lot of guns, money, and stuff. So the cops were just doing the job, but nobody got shot. I mean,
right.
There were a lot of cops and a lot of guns. I'm talking about a lot of guns.
Yeah.
And I've only seen that happen in front of me like once or twice. And I'll tell you what, nobody was filming.
Right.
And this happened in McDonald's parking lot. Nobody was filming it. I looked around, nobody had their phones out. Everybody was in genuine awe and shock, like, whoa. People were ducking down because nobody knew what the guys in the car were going to do. Nobody knew what the cops were going to do.
Right.
It was intense. And we're talking about state police, you know, it's so, but again, nobody got shot. Nobody lost their lives. Everybody went home. Some people went to jail, I mean, of course.
Yeah, of course. I would hope somebody went to jail after that.
They didn't go home, but they went to jail, you know, but.
For every one of them firearms, but.
And then in our city where we live, because, I mean, we both live here, but I've never really heard anything drastic like that happening here in the city. Like,
I guess Delaware's fucking boring.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody can afford like a high definition phone, so I'm gonna take out my flip phone and videotape what's going on.
If you live somewhere where you've witnessed this, I mean, not, you know, maybe you didn't take a video, but if you've witnessed it or you know someone personally that this happened to, comment on it. We want to know about it, and was it ever videotaped by anyone, and were there any legal repercussions? Like, did you sue the police officer? Did you sue the police department? So if you have or know someone very close to you that's been in something like this, let us know. We want to hear about it, because I'm questioning the motives of why we put things like that on the internet, because if it's not going to help, then let's stop doing it. If you've witnessed that and you know someone, definitely let us know, because I really want to hear, because I've honestly never witnessed it, and I don't know anyone who's ever been in that situation who either videotaped something like that or was a victim of something like that, and it starts to kind of make it seem unreal. I mean, we know bad things happen in this world, of course, but if it's so bad that's like every week there's a different viral video about, you know, somebody getting shot randomly by a police officer or getting violated or assaulted, like, I mean, something needs to be done by somebody somewhere. But
I think that's probably what the people are like aiming for, if anything, to like, because people themselves are, for the most part, like powerless in situations like this. Like, there's nothing like a single person like me or a single person like you can do to change or force police officers to start being held accountable for their actions and stuff like that.
Correct.
So I'm assuming that when something like this does happen, the most a person can do is to videotape it, post it online, and make people aware of it. So if anything, the zeitgeist in America can at least be shifted to know that it is an actual issue that's going on, so that there might be change. Kind of like how now police officers are like starting to wear like the body cams and stuff like that. Even though it's not 100% foolproof, because again, you see the videos of them like turning it off,
exactly,
like that. But at least that's still a change that happened, because it was brought to people's awareness that this shit was going down, that police officers was doing stuff and not being held accountable. So to protect the people, but the police as well against like false charges, like, oh, this police officer like touched me or something like that. To have the body cam to show that, oh, this police officer either did or did not do something wrong.
Yeah.
So at least that's what my interpretation of these videos getting put online would be. Is that's the most a single person like one of us could do.
Yeah.
And it can possibly end up changing what happens in society.
Yeah, and it's like, honestly, will we ever know? No, probably not. Because, you know, the internet is like, you sometimes you don't even know what to believe. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see things on there. Now, I think that it's there's a problem, and there's a real problem. But I think that certain people are exploiting the situation.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
you know
for sure.
mean?
For sure.
There are a lot of players now that are like, ooh, we can use this.
Yeah, definitely when it comes to politics and stuff.
Exactly.
Everybody's got their own agenda to kind of shift how somebody looks at a situation. Oh, look at this illegal. He committed this crime. And oh, there's 50,000 non-illegals that commit those crimes every day. But, yeah, okay.
And like, the only thing I came up with, like I said, is I see it just as a way to divide the people.
Right.
You know,
wait, have you ever... Wait.
Like, continue to put us in categories. Like, why are you so bent on putting us in categories? Like, why is it that when we go to fill an application, there's always a box that says, you know, black, white, Hispanic, others? Like, why are you trying to put me in a box?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Then again, I think people are doing that themselves, too. Like, people definitely, like... Well, there's many branches we can split off in here.
Well, yeah.
But there's definitely there is the one military strategy of the divide and conquer, which is why you constantly hear the stories like, oh, Russia has their internet research agencies that actually have people constantly sowing the seeds of discourse and stuff like that within the internet to have people like versus each other. And again, it's been proven that they've done this many a times, and I'm pretty sure that we do it too to like other countries. Like, it's just something that countries do to one another. It's just sowing the seeds of discourse, basically, to create that us against them mentalities or so like that, and again, to make us at each other's throats. So it takes our eyes off of the bigger pictures of thing that's going on. So that's definitely a thing that's going on. But damn, what was I gonna say? I don't know. You go.
But no, so what this is like, for those people who don't believe that they're trying to divide us, and some people always think,
but who's trying to divide? That's the question. Yeah, let's go big.
Well, okay, who's trying to divide? So we're not going to have any filter on this channel.
Right.
I think it's really coming down to, I don't even want to say the government, because I think this is more than the government. This is way beyond the government. Right? Because, okay, so this is the way I look at it.
It can go
if you read the Bible, right? The story of the Tower of Babel. I don't know if you're familiar with the story. So basically, everybody used to speak the same language. There was no different languages. We all spoke one language that we all knew. And what they decided to do in this place called Babel was they decided that, okay, everything was going well, and they were like, you know what? We know there's a God, and we know He's in heaven. We're going to build a tower that's going to go straight to heaven, and that way we can walk into heaven whenever we want to. I'm paraphrasing for, you know, the real religious people. I'm paraphrasing. But, and God was like, okay, whatever, I'm not worried. Until they started building the tower.
Okay.
And they looked like they were going to actually keep going until they got to the gates of heaven. Okay. So God was like, wait, I can't allow this. I'm still paraphrasing.
Right.
And he was like, okay, whatever. He was like, okay, so I'm going to bring division, but through language, so that you can't communicate. So everybody started speaking a different language. So if I'm working on this section with you and I can't understand you, you speaking Russian, I'm speaking German, we can't work together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, again, the divide.
Correct.
Right.
And then everybody just was like, you know what? I can't understand him. He can't understand me. forget it. I'm going my way. That's where the term Babylon came from.
Right.
You're babbling. Meaning you're saying, you're saying something I don't understand. You're babbling.
Right.
That's where that term came from. It's a biblical term from that Tower of Babel. So, but what God realized was, he said, this people, if they come together and they set their minds on doing one thing, and they're so focused on it, they can achieve anything.
Right.
So, of course, the powers that be, say what you want, conspiracy theory or not, but the powers that be, they have a copy of the Bible. They learn everything they're doing from the Bible.
Right.
Because, again, it's more than just a book. So they were like, okay, we cannot let the people unite. If we need to lord over them, if we need to do what we want them to do, we can never let them come together. We always have to divide, and we'll keep dividing and dividing and dividing. So as long as there's always a division, then we're good. We're set. They'll never come together and try to figure out what's going on.
And it's got to the point where people kind of are taking it into their own hands, and they purposely divide themselves.
Correct.
Of, again, not jumping into that territory of I don't see myself as a guy. I see myself as not a girl either. I don't know, a unicorn today. Correct. Or this type of thing.
Correct.
Again, people purposely coming up with like their own specific things to kind of differentiate themselves from everybody else.
Yeah.
Kind of going along with that mentality of, I don't know, everybody's special or so. But again, we're all human beings. It's kind of like I don't know.
I mean, but the Bible talks about again, this is like the first podcast, and I don't want to get all deep and sentimental on people, but
that is one thing you can make clear too. Well, since I already know, but just to reiterate, is that looking at the Bible, it's a collection of stories. So you don't believe that it was an actual tower built somewhere on this planet that people actually transcribe to stuff, or do you?
I believe it really is.
Okay,
there really is, because some of the landmarks in the Bible, people have visited it. Like some of the places, like Jesus walked. Like I know people who've been to Jerusalem, people who've been to Galilee, the River Jordan. Of course, the River Jordan still exists. People still get baptized there till this day.
Okay.
Same place Jesus was baptized. So those places actually do exist. They're not.
Okay.
They're not just like fantasies. Like, oh, somebody made them up. They're actual places that you can visit, that you can see, that the place where Jesus was crucified, you can see that. Even the place where Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus, the money that he gave, he tried to give it back, and they took the money and they bought a piece of land. Till this day, people who live there, nobody inhabits that land because of the history behind it.
Oh, you said Jerusalem? That's where it was, or somewhere else?
I'm not. It's somewhere.
Okay.
We'll get back to that. But I'm not. I don't know if it's exactly in Jerusalem.
Somewhere.
But but basically, and like if you talk to like the Jews who still live in the areas and stuff, they'll tell you there's a lot of history, and these places do exist.
Okay. So for the more practical viewers, again, one would say not all of them, but some of them do exist. Like, I don't know, like a percentage of like 100. Because one would think like just putting that there for like the Tower of Babel, like if God is the all-knowing and stuff like that, and then I doubt that he would be fearful that man can create a skyscraper that is tall enough to actually reach the heavens that's actually in the clouds. So I doubt an actual God would be scared that we build a building tall enough. And I get what you're saying,
but I don't think it was more fear. I just think it was the fact that the way God designed it, there's supposed to be a firmament between heaven and here.
Right.
And, but what he found out was that, because we're humans, and sometimes we don't know the depths of, like, how far we can go if we really set our mind to things, and that's why...
Okay, yeah.
Excuse me, that's why there's people who say that you don't know what you can do until you really push yourself to do it. I don't think it was fearful that that they would do that. It was just
a bad phrasing of words.
Just something he didn't want them to do. Period.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was just because it's like saying, okay, I have a house, and every now and then I invite you to come to my house,
Right.
and you decide that, okay, you know what, I'm just going to take his key, make a copy, and I'm going to just walk into his house whenever I want to. And I'm like, no, you're invited, and I'm okay with you coming here every now and then, but I don't want you to just have access to come to my house.
Right.
When I'm not there, I'm going to be asleep, like my wife and I may be, doing whatever. I don't just want you to just walk into my house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Personal boundaries, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's more of what was going on there. It was like, no, you guys have there.
Okay.
I have here, and the way I have orders set, you can only come here once you've left there.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't just walk in here whenever you want to.
Exactly.
You know
what
I mean?
Makes
so
sense,
it's like boundaries. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's more like boundaries.
All right. So diving deeper there.
We haven't gone off the topic of the viral videos, but this is what happens in a regular conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start one thing and then you pick something up. Again, this is not we're not scripted. We're just two guys having a conversation. So I know some of you might watch it and be like, oh well, they would start talking about viral videos. Now I'm talking about God and the Bible and Tower of Babel. We're going to talk about everything.
Right.
Everything. So feel free to jump in. Feel free to take a spin on it. But again,
I got to jump in. Okay, so for that one though, again, not disproving anything, but so we still got time. All right, to go deeper into there. So what about space? Because if it is a possibility of people like building something high enough to actually walk into the actual heavens, then that would negate the idea.
What is space?
Space is
just space. Space
right.
is the
so
firmament.
space is a thing.
You know what I mean? Because God said there's a firmament between heaven and earth.
Firmament.
So it's more like a division.
Okay.
But that's what that space is. I mean, you can go into space as far as you want to, but you're not going to get to heaven. Right. It's going to get to a point where you're either going to hit a wall or you're going to hit something, and that's it.
And
honestly, I don't think we as a people, as human beings, have really explored how far in space you can even go.
Oh, for sure not.
Yeah.
Like again, they say the universe is ever expanding.
It's because the way the Bible describes it is like it's so high that I don't think we can ever get there.
Okay, so it's more so like a principle type thing. So it's kind of like there was an ant on the ground, okay, who is the human beings.
Correct.
They're building a sculpture that is maybe like the size of a Lego or so, but actual heaven could be like at the top of the Empire State Building. But God's
Correct.
just like, okay, the fact that you're trying is still disrespectful, so knock that shit down. So it's kind of like we're here, and people were trying to build a building high enough to go to the heavens. And again, space is pretty much like infinite or so. So it doesn't matter if it didn't reach the stratosphere or out into actual space.
Correct.
He's just like, okay, it's still disrespectful, so babble on or so.
And you still need to have your boundaries. I need to have mine.
So you do believe that there is a space, so at least.
So yes. Right. I mean, I do believe that.
Just making sure. Just throwing it out again. If
I believe that, but we
can dive into flat Earth
some
if
of the
you
things
want.
that I don't really believe everything we've been told. Because
sure.
I think we were having a discussion there a while back, and you were asking if I believe in the theory of a flat Earth or a round Earth, and I said I didn't care either way until I read something in the Bible. It said the four corners of the earth. In Revelations, and then I was like, wait, is Earth really round or is it flat? And then I was talking to my other friend that I was telling you about, and he was saying, well, a lot of travelers use the four corners, and it just means like north, west, east, south, north, south, east, and west. And I was like, could that be it, or is it really talking about four corners?
Right,
so it's something I'm still looking into, reading, of course, through the Bible, because you can't trust what's on the internet, but trying to see where else and what more description we were given to see if there's any hints, if you want to put it like that way, that the Earth is really flat versus round, because I think we've been. So this is we're probably going to end with this, and we might, this might be the next video. But
okay, let's do that break then.
We've been. I'm going to say this first. I think we've been brainwashed to believe a lot of things that we have no business believing in.
Okay,
I think we've been lied to. You know, like
I know we've been lied to for sure. That's no doubt.
I posed a question. I don't know if it was you. Or, I posed a question to someone that said, "What if you woke up one day and every single thing you've been told in your life has been a lie?"
What if you woke up one day and you found out the truth that you waking up today was not the same guy that woke up yesterday? Every single day you die whenever you go to sleep, and there's a new you imprinted with the memories of the you from before, and now you only have, 24 hours to live or so until you close your eyes and go back to sleep again.
That's
and
deep.
Then you die, and the next guy comes back up.
It could very well be a possibility.
But
there's Who knows? I mean, I don't believe it, but
I know. I'm just saying. But nobody can
believe that,
prove or disprove.
Nobody can prove or disprove it. You're right. But
simulation theory, all that stuff that's out there.
You know,
I mean, everything that we see, like you seeing me or me seeing you, is just like our body telling me that I see the color, that I see a solid object like reflecting back at me, and that I hear your voice or so. But what if our bodies are lying to us? What if you're actually in the Matrix or so? And it's just like, I don't know.
For sure we are in the I believe we are in some sort of Matrix.
You do believe in simulation theory. That's what that is, the Matrix.
We are in some form of Matrix. That's why
a flat Matrix.
I own the Matrix trilogy, and I've watched it over again. The first one is the real one. The other two, it's just something else. And I'm waiting for the new one to come out. I don't know when it's going to come out. So here's the cat. You randomly see this cat.
Just watch that one ear.
And
she is not in good times. Yeah.
So you randomly see a cat, but we'll keep talking. But I definitely believe we are in some form of a Matrix. Definitely. So why do I believe that? Because
before we branch too deep into there, I got OCD, so I got to keep jumping back to like tie stuff up. Okay, so my theory or my justification for the the guy saying like from the four corners or so like that.
Yeah, the four corners.
If anything, would be like due to their limited knowledge back in the day. Just like back in the day, before people knew exactly what the world of like microscopic germs and stuff like that were or so. They used to think that like sperm was like super small, tiny men, and that was like, yeah. They used to think that sperm was a multitude of tiny men or so like that.
Little soldiers.
Yes, that would just get thrown into the woman or so like that and slowly grow like that. Like, I mean, again, I'm not 100% wrong. I could be like 95% wrong, but I know that that's a fucking fact. But again, due to people's limited knowledge, I would say, because again, people did think the world was flat until they started doing like the scientific experiments and the charting the stars and stuff like that. And again, like if people would say that there's like, I don't know, do they say there's no evidence of it being around? Because there are like experiments, like there's a documentary where like again, like the community, there you go, the community of like people who believe the world is flat or so, they do pitch money in together and try to do experiments to prove that the world isn't rotating like at the speed that they say it is. Kind of like they take a gyroscopic stabilizer and like the most accurate laser, and I guess they have it like hovering somewhere so that every hour that it goes by, if the world is spinning, it would tilt by like a very minute degree or so. So they would do certain experiments like that and see that, oh, it actually did tilt. Well, we got to do it inside of a very confined safe because it could be being like the unknown variable could be the wind blowing on it or something like that. So there are scientific experiments that can prove that there is a rotation of sorts, but you don't believe those ones?
So let me ask you. I'm going to ask you this question, and I hear you, and what you're saying sounds great. I mean, it sounds great, but I'm going to ask you this question. Who told us the Earth was round?
Let me do the research, but I would jump and like an idiot say something like Galileo, but I know people much smarter than me. Not to mention, again, like...
Ask yourself this question.
Yeah.
Who told you that?
Yeah.
Who told you you were black?
Yeah, again.
Who told you I was black?
Yeah. The people, well, who told us what words were? Who told us that this is black? Who told us that this room is white?
Exactly.
What a light is light. Like,
we say race, the Caucasian race, we call them white, but...
Right.
But
things, white. Yeah, like words are merely just like symbols to help us know what one another is talking about, to help us communicate, basically.
But who told us these things?
People that learned the stuff before we did.
Yeah, but who told them?
People that did experiments. Kind of like...
it's like
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You understand what I'm going?
I know what you mean.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You can go as far back as you want to.
Right.
But until we know who said this thing,
right,
and we say, well, okay, why did you say this?
Right.
Why did you put it that way? What was your intentions of doing it?
They do say that, though. They show, like, what Einstein's exact thought pattern was when he was trying to create.
Correct, but that's Einstein.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in physics when you learn stuff and you know all that stuff. Like,
in the world of science.
But Einstein, okay, he came up with his own thing, right? I get that. Scientists come up with their own stuff. Yeah. Now, I've been looking into...
the scientists are the guys that told us the world is round and created spaceships, if you believe that.
Correct.
And...
Now, Einstein, speaking of Einstein, I was looking at some of his most famous quotes the other day, and some of it, honestly, lines up with a lot of things in the Bible. Okay. His definition of insanity is... doing the same thing over and over and expecting different result.
Right.
The same way over and over and expecting a different result. Now, the Bible tells us, do not be conformed to this world, but we should be transformed by the renewing of our mind daily.
Okay.
See the similarity in what he's saying and what the Bible is saying? So Einstein's saying, if you're doing the same thing every day and you're expecting something different, that's insanity. Meaning that it's not going to happen.
Right.
But if you want something different,
I see
you're going to have to do something different.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's the same with the Bible. The Bible is like, don't conform to this world. Like, basically, don't believe everything that's happening in the world.
Right.
But be transformed by renewing your own mind every single day.
Right.
But how do you renew your mind? You ask yourself questions every day. You can't just accept what you see and say, oh, I'm going to accept that this is black because you told me it's black. No. Why is it black?
Right.
Why do you think it's black?
Because it's the absence of all colors.
You know what I mean?
Or it has all colors, whichever you would say.
So you will always have to renew your mind, meaning that sometimes you have to forget certain things, and come up with something different. You know what I mean?
As long as it's based on truth, though.
Correct. As long as it's based on truth. And then you have to... Because once you start to... it's like an onion, man. Once you start to peel it, right? And you just get deeper and deeper. And you're like, man, how far does the rabbit hole go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. Like, Like, for example, you watch The Economy. Very soon. Okay, so I think... the people. You've probably heard people talk about the New World Order and stuff like that. If you've ever heard it,
I've heard the term. I don't know what it means.
Well, basically, it means the whole world's coming together as one. We'll have one single currency.
This is like an ideal future.
Correct.
Or something.
We'll have one government for the whole world. Ironically,
do you think that's possible?
Well, the Bible talks about that. That's what the Bible considers the beginning of the end, where the Antichrist is going to rule. And there will be, again, one guy who will basically rule over everybody. That's how they came up with the mark of the beast. That if you don't have this mark, you're not going to be able to buy and sell, and you're not going to be able to function in this society unless you take this mark called the mark of the beast. Of course, when they start to give this thing out, they're not going to call it the mark of the beast.
Right.
They're going to make it sound like something that you definitely want, to have. Something like, maybe a chip that could make things a lot easier for you. You don't have to walk out with a wallet. You go to the hospital, they scan your your right hand, and they have all your information. How convenient would that be? They're not going to say, "Hey, yeah, so it's the mark of the beast. Yeah, once you take it, you go to hell."
Right.
They're not going to tell you
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Bible talks about that. So do I believe that? Yes, I believe that.
Wait, so that's super interesting. I mean, we can keep going down that one, but what if that means, okay, taken if that is true, and if that is the true sign that the end of times has come and that the Antichrist is about to rule, then what if that means that the Catholic Church or religion or whatever is behind all of the discourse of the viral videos or so? To keep the world from becoming one, they try to split everybody.
My friend, have a beautiful mind.
What if that is the thing? The Catholic Church are shooting black people.
Here's okay. So this is what I'm going to say. Right, listen. Again, this is free will talk.
Yeah.
Catholic Church is sketchy, man. Listen. Because I'll tell you why I think it. Now, again, if you're Catholic, I apologize. But we're not talking about, Catholics. We're talking about.
This is a conversation between two buddies.
Correct.
That's it.
It's a conversation between two buddies. But, man, I think they're sketchy, man. Because here's what they did. They did some sketchy stuff in the past. I know. Okay,
currently, what are you doing with? Priest?
Okay. We're not even going to talk about that. We're not going to
whole another hour.
Yeah, that we'll deal with that in a different video.
Right.
But in reference to that, right? So, Christmas. Yeah, let's go on that.
Okay.
December 25th. Most people celebrate Christmas. Now, the people that really do celebrate Christmas a lot are Christians. I don't call myself one, but I'll explain that to you in a second.
Right.
They celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. They say, oh, it's the birth of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. So, you do a little digging, you do a little scratching, you do a little sniffing, and then you find out that...
What's going on down there?
You gotta put your nose to it and be like, yo, that don't smell right, you know?
A little fishy there. What? Okay.
So I found out, and most people probably know this, it had nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was not even born in December. Actually, if you really wanted to know, Jesus Christ was born in the springtime, probably somewhere. They put the date around March the 1st or so is around when Jesus Christ was actually born.
Right.
And there's been evidence of that. It's not just talk, because one interesting fact about, Jesus has been called the Lamb, the Lamb of God. And, he said he's the true shepherd. There's a very good reason why he uses shepherd, sheep, lamb, because believe it or not, I found this out interesting fact while I was doing my digging in history. Sheep only give birth once a year. Like not like all the animals when they mate and they just they just spit out babies whenever they want to.
Right.
But they only do this at a particular time, and when they do give birth, it's usually at night, like in the evening. So hence the I don't know if I guess it's like a Christmas carol. While shepherds watch their flocks by night.
Yeah.
All seated all around. Angel of the Lord came down, glory shone around. So, but this is around the time that it happens.
Wait, so how long did it carry? Like, I know humans, they carry,
I didn't read that as
far
as that, but I just know that I was shocked to know that they don't just have, they don't give birth just any time of the year. It's a specific time of the year every year. So the shepherds know when, and what they do is they let them go do their thing, but they just sit around and they wait for the cry of the lamb.
Yeah.
Again, you see the reference?
Okay.
When the lamb and then the Lamb of God was born. That's why there's a big reference with, Jesus being the lamb, shepherd, and, sheep. My sheep knew my voice. Like, you hear this a lot. In the New Testament, Jesus talks about that a lot, about being the shepherd, the true shepherd. But again, why is that? Why is there the correlation between him and regular shepherds, who, look after sheep? Like, and why were they the first ones that really saw the stars and, that the angels appeared to, and not just anybody else.
Right.
Because there's a correlation between, again, the shepherds, they let the sheep do the thing, and they know when they give birth, they hear the sound, and then they go to where, the sheep, they take the lamb, and then they clean them up, do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
But it's only at a particular time, and it's not in the winter. December 25th is the worship of the sun god, S-U-N god. So it's a pagan holiday. Now, again, it's been a while since I read it, but and I know if you know the exact story, comment and give us links where people can read
Yeah, we'll look it up later.
We'll look it up later. But they were trying to get this people to be part of, either the Roman Catholic Church or whatever, and they were like, these people had their own beliefs about who they worship and stuff, and they were like, no, on this day we worship, the sun god, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing it if you're going to take that away from us. And they were like, you know what, fine. We also have the son of God, we can just, fine, just worship you God that day, and we'll just tell people it's the day that the son of God was born.
Yeah, at the same
and a little
time,
play in words, you know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's how December 25th became supposedly the where the Son of God was born, but it's not.
To
it's
try
the sun
to
correct
overshadow
the main correct
and all that stuff.
And there's a lot of that going on. Like when
Yeah.
you find out about, okay, well, why did they do this? Why did they do that? And it's funny that you said that. What if the Roman Catholic Church was behind all of this?
Yeah.
I mean, are they behind it? I don't know for certain. I can't say yes they are, and I can't say no they're not.
But it would be interesting if they were.
I mean, it really will be, because some of the archives are not available to just anybody, and I would really be interested to read some of those things.
Yeah,
that
for
they have in
sure.
archives that they've locked away, that you possibly couldn't comprehend.
You gotta be like close with the Pope or something like that.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I don't even the things that. Even if you knew the Pope personally, that you still wouldn't have access to, because it would destroy history and the world probably as we know it.
Yeah.
But it's out there, you know what I mean? So that's why. So real quick on why I don't call myself a Christian, because Jesus never simply called us a Christian. He told the apostles to go make disciples of every nation. So I consider myself to be a disciple of Christ, or a believer in Christ, as opposed to a Christian. Now, again, the word Christian, if you search the Bible, it was only used twice. Question is, if this was one word that was used the least in the Bible, why are we now taking it up as a banner?
Right.
Like, I'm not okay with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're saying, people go, oh, well, Christian means, a believer in Christ, Christ-like. But here's the thing, most people call themselves Christians are nothing Christ-like.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Now, not everyone.
Yeah.
And I know there's some Christians who are watching this going, oh, no, he's blaspheming. No, I know that you consider yourself a Christian because, yes, you read the Bible, you do things according to the way of Jesus Christ that he said, and that's fine. But don't call yourself a Christian, because Jesus Christ never called you one. Like, if we're supposed to be following him and he said, follow me, but he never called me a Christian, why would I call myself one?
Wait, but that could be the thing. Then what if... Because, again, since words are merely just symbols for what things are, so like that. Like, I don't know, a collection of books is a library. Dumb analogy. But yeah, if words are merely...
So a collection of disciples a Christian?
I mean, so maybe the definition of Christian is exactly what they are, but like you said, you don't classify yourself as a Christian. Since Jesus did not call the people who follow him Christians or so like that, then maybe Christian is the term for that one branch of people that follow him, but not as closely as they supposedly say they do. Kind of like when it comes to anime, we're otaku, which is kind of like people who's very passionate about a certain thing.
Yeah.
And other people will say, oh, that guy's weeaboo or something like that because he's way into anime culture or something like that. So weeaboo, that's not what we call ourselves, but that's the definition that other people has labeled this grouping of objects or people. So maybe Christian is the same thing there.
That's exactly what Christian is.
Yeah.
People label them as that, but they never call. You'll never read anywhere in the Bible where Paul calls himself a Christian.
Right.
I mean, unless it's like a new modern translated Bible. But if you read a King James Bible, you will never read where Paul called himself a Christian. He calls himself a bondservant of Christ.
Yeah, so it's just a definition that they created for themselves. So when we hear the word Christian, we would want to link it up with
other people call them Christians.
Right.
It was a derogatory term, like,
another
like person of color or something would say nigger.
Right.
Like that's what the word was.
Right.
And if you search it, because it was only used in two places, and one, Paul used it, and I think this was in the book of, I want to say Hebrews, where he said, even if you suffer as Christians. Now, when you dissect that sentence itself, it's not calling you a Christian, but it's saying if you suffer as one, meaning that there has been a kind of label on this word called Christian.
Okay.
And the kind of things that they should go through. But if you suffer as a Christian, not saying you are one, but if you suffer as one, this is how you should conduct yourself. Even if, which would be the extreme in the situation that Paul was trying to explain to the Hebrews.
Okay, so was he explaining it as a positive term or a negative term?
He was just explaining it as a negative term. Even if this is the extent of your suffering, you're suffering as this person or this people or this group, then still do this.
Okay.
So it wasn't using it as a term where, oh yeah, you guys are Christians. No.
Right. He never called them uphold everything that the Bible
he never called
entails
them that.
or anything like that. Right.
And so that's what it is. And the disciple comes from the word discipline. So it means if you're a disciple of someone or something, you have to be disciplined in that thing or with that person.
Right.
So it makes more sense when you call yourself a disciple to want to walk along the lines of your discipline, as opposed to just say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm Christ-like, and you're nothing like Christ.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so far-fetched.
Yeah,
but a disciple is more like,
claim,
I know I'm not there yet, but every day I'm learning. You could be a disciple of karate. You're not, Bruce Lee. But,
he's more modest.
Or, Bruce Lee's not karate. He's more like,
he's everything, kind of.
Correct, yeah. But, martial arts, stuff like that. So, so that's it. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely dive into
it
next time.
I relate everything to the Bible, and that's the one book I trust. And people say, well, why do you trust the Bible so much? People, man wrote the Bible. Man wrote the Bible, but with inspiration from God. That's the difference.
Okay.
That's the difference. They didn't just sit there and write like, oh, I'm just going to write a book and tell them this happened. No, it actually happened, and God inspired someone to write that down because I wanted it to be passed down.
See, I would want to pass that to that too. Like the question you put of, so how do you know the Earth is round? And who said that? And who said that? I would kind of say the same thing for that.
Correct.
Okay,
and,
so
and in some
how do we know the first person that wrote it wasn't batshit crazy? And just coming up with stories. How do we know they weren't just, I don't know, tripping on something and
they wrote the stuff down. And it's true. But I'll tell you this. I have personally put some of the things in the Bible to test, and
right. There's definitely some legitimate.
I've
lessons.
Seen the results just like I said it would be. You know what I mean? And I've had experiences that cannot be explained otherwise. You know what I mean? But when I look in them, I'm like, so that's what was happening with me when that happened. Because there are things where people just can't explain, and everybody tries to say, are you sure you weren't doing? No, I'm sure of what was going on. I'm sure of what happened. But yeah, I mean, we can pick up on something else. You're just going to hear me reference a lot of things to the Bible. If you don't like that, it's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But let's just logically look at some of the things that we're talking about. So,
and I'm definitely going off on a lot of tangents too.
And we're going to start with one thing, and we might end up somewhere else.
We got to relook at whatever we did here and make changes. You're like, okay, here's we liked or didn't like this. So
absolutely, and we'll bring you guys some more.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll see you on the next one.
All right, man.